Good afternoon, everybody. It is 12:59 Central Standard Time on this beautiful Tuesday, the 14th of August. Welcome to the crypto markets. And, man, I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually really excited. I was in a little bit of a nerdy, giggling out mood over over the afternoon yesterday because these price moves. I'm not very upset about the conditions that have happened. I know some folks probably are very not what's the word I'm looking for. It's not a good feeling if you are probably, using your own money and you are expecting this to grow exponentially. These aren't the conditions that you're excited about, but I think you should be. And I want to go over why that is. But I also want to talk about this. So right here on the screen, we're looking at the Bitcoin dollar pair. And if you remember yesterday, I was talking about the head and shoulders pattern and how the inverse head and shoulders and the regular head and shoulders, those are the two most profitable pattern setups that you find. And I should say they're not the most profitable, but they have the highest expectancy of showing a positive return. It doesn't mean that they have the highest return. But I made the point of saying that the trick with the head and shoulders pattern is not to trade it until it's finished. So a head and shoulders pattern needs to be traded, or you can only trade. I don't want to tell you what you should do, but you should only trade a head and shoulders pattern after it's been completed. Okay, so in other words, this line here, this diagonal line, represents the neckline. Only after that has been broken should a trade be taken in that direction. But I also mentioned yesterday that this is also a pattern that has a high probability of being rejected. So that's why I've often said that head and shoulders patterns, or patterns in general, if you try to trade them before they're done forming, I think that's kind of like trying to chase straights in pokers or trying to chase a flush in poker. You will get burned more often than you will get rewarded. So keep that in mind. What I really want to go over today is the conditions of the altcoin market and just crypto market in general. I think like one of the best words I've heard to describe the current market is the altpocalypse. That's the definition of what happened yesterday. Let's look at Cardano, for example. Cardano, we were trading in that $11. Actually, let's just look at this. So if we start off with last week, let's start off with last Sunday. So let's find the 5th, August 5th. Where are we at? We'll take the high there of August 5th. So from there down to the low yesterday, that's a 38% drop. All right, that's a big drop. Okay, that's a pretty big. I mean, we went from 13 cents or almost 14 cents all the way down to 8 cents. That's a bit of a drop. Now, there's a reason why I'm actually excited about these levels, and I actually picked up a lot more of a lot of these. So I want to point this out. Let's start with Ethereum. And Ethereum, oh man, Ethereum has just taken it on the nose. I was writing for another site that I do some. I'm a paid writer for, but I had pointed out that yesterday Ethereum was trading in the $275 value area. 1 year ago from yesterday, Ethereum was also trading around the $275 value area. So it was trading at the same value area was 1 year ago, year to date. Year to date means, a year ago from the date that we're at. So a year ago, Ethereum was trading at the same price. All right, if we look at a daily chart right now, and we look at let's see, August 14th of last year, we are below those price ranges. Okay, we are below those price ranges. Excuse me. So, but we're also right at the 882, 886 Fibonacci zone. That's currently where we're at. I think we are actually a little bit overextended here. We should see a pretty nice bounce happening soon. But yeah, we are well below, not well below, but we're below a year ago. Okay. So, but here's the thing. So, last year, $275. That's what it was trading at on the 13th of August in 2017. 121 days later, it went up 853.46% to its all-time high of 420. So if we took this tool here, we go to August, I'm talking about yesterday, August 13th to here. Where are we at? I'm sorry, I was looking at the 394%. That's the gain that we had from last August to middle of January. All right? And that was Ethereum. Litecoin, we're going to go on the same thing. So Litecoin Litecoin was trading in the $55 value area last year in August. And then 1 year ago today, it was trading around the $50 value area. That's exactly where we see Litecoin trading. 129 days after the 13th of August 2017, Litecoin rose 853.46%. So we look at the 13th of August. The high was 420. Somebody has a sense of humor. And we got up to 853.46%. Or we added $375.95 of value. So in a 121-day period, that's how far that moved. Dash. Let's look at Dash. Dash in August of 2017. August 13th. Dash was trading at the $145 value area. We are currently trading below that. And it went up 729% in a 129-day period. Okay? Pretty crazy, huh? That's pretty crazy. We're talking. That's a pretty big drive. Let's keep going with this. So Zcash a year ago in August was trading at we were trading at the $145 value area. We are below that value. Yesterday, it was trading in the $200 value area. 147 days later, it went 305% is what we gained on there, roughly, to its all-time high of $799.26. 28 cents. 26 or 28? 26. Steam was trading in the 85-cent value area. Today, it was trading in the $1.15 zone. Sorry, that was yesterday. And then 143 days later, let's get this first. So August 13th. To its all-time high. It went up 732% in 143 days. Okay? From there to here, and we could be approaching a calendar year low here. or not a calendar year, but a year-to-year swing low. All right, keep that in mind. And then let's see, Walton Chain, WTC. That's one of my big holdings. I love Walton Coin. That's a supply. That's a logistics coin, a supply side inventory management and identification and integrity. It's pretty neat. WTC. If we look at Walton Coin was trading in the $2.30 area. Now, it did not actually, so I'm looking at Binance. Walton Coin didn't get on Binance until the 27th of August. And so back then it was trading around the, what is that? It opened at 6. I mean, we could probably say, I think I put it right back here. So we were in the something like 15-cent range, whatever that is. What are we looking at here? 35-cent range. And then we got all the way up to 47. 144 days later. That's an important Gann number. 12,411%. Now, we are still, in Walton Chain, we are still above what we were trading at a year ago. All right. So that makes sense to me. We have a bit of a ways to go if we want to get back down to those lows or even make newer lows. But that was a pretty big drive lower there. LISK, LSK. Where are you at? You're down here somewhere. LISK was trading at the $3 value area a year ago. Now it's trading in the $3 area again. Let's see, August 13th, 2017. Its all-time high was up here. We're still kind of close to that inside range there. And we moved up 1,990, 2,000% gain in 147 days. Okay, let's look at one more, OMG. In OMG, we went from the August 13th to its all-time high here. On August 13th, we were trading in the $5 and 25-cent range. We are down in the $3.26 range, so we are below what last year's prices were. And we traded up 437% to $22.94. So there have been some big swings. All right, we have broken yearly trading lows. We have broken the lows of last year in a lot of these pairs. We are creating some pairs. We are creating lower lows in general, like we're creating all-time lows. Some of them we're just creating calendar year lows. Some of them we're creating year-to-date lows. So in a lot of these pairs, actually that's not right. I gotta move up here more. There we go. In a lot of these cryptos, everything is at a discount from what it was a year ago. I mean, it doesn't seem that long ago we saw Ethereum, and we could go on Coinbase, look at Ethereum, and we could see it, being up, 200% from year over year. That is certainly not the case anymore. I mean, the coin that is holding up the best, shockingly, is Bitcoin. And why? Why is Bitcoin doing so well right now? I mean, it's down 3.54%. That's really nothing in cryptos. But Bitcoin is down, and it's holding its position. Why? Litecoin's selling off 3 times as fast. Ethereum's selling off 3 times as fast. Bitcoin's actually staying pretty steady. It's because we have so many people liquidating out of altcoins and going back into Bitcoin that we have an actual rise in Bitcoin's value. So every time somebody is selling their altcoins into a Bitcoin pair, we're actually buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually catching a bid from people liquidating their altcoins. Now, cryptocurrencies are the most speculative of speculative markets currently, and you know, the only thing more speculative than Bitcoin is the altcoin market. Or really anything that is on Coinbase is a quote unquote, this is weird to say, but I feel like it's a safe coin to hang on to, because really they're just the big dogs. But Bitcoin has captured a huge percentage of the market again. Okay, the market is down below 200 billion, I believe. Yeah, we are down to 191 billion. That is a big drop. Bitcoin's dominance is almost 55% of the entire market. That is a crazy, crazy thing that has happened. Okay, what we're saying is that people have fled to Bitcoin for quote-unquote security. And so there is a ton of... Think of Bitcoin like the dollar right now. There's a ton of money sitting on the sidelines in Bitcoin waiting to go back into the altcoin market. All right? Let's look. So Ethereum, this is the 24-hour change. Bitcoin's down 3.21%. That's not much of anything. Ethereum's down 11 and 3/4. Ripple's down 10%. Bitcoin Cash is down 10%. Stellar Lumen's actually sitting pretty tight at 7%. EOS is at 432. That is cheap. Litecoin's at $51. It's down 10%. Tether, shockingly, is down. Cardano is down. It's under 10 cents. That has got me smiling. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Well, actually, I could believe it when I saw it. I'm just very tickled. Monero is down 12%. IOTA is down 15%. Everything is down by huge margins. If we take a look at over here, and this is the kind of stuff that happens right before there are these crazy 30-40% drive up weeks. So hold on to your hats. I put all of my free capital in cryptos to play yesterday afternoon and yesterday evening, and I am fine with that. Like the money I have in cryptos is money that I'm comfortable losing, that my wife is comfortable with us losing. She says that, but so I've already assumed, and I think this is something that a lot of people should do, is that you should assume that the money you are risking is already gone. This is something I tell our Forex Forex Lens subscribers whenever we talk about risk management. When I put a trade on and I know how much I'm risking, I assume that money is gone. I assume that it's already been lost, because then I don't get anxious or nervous about it. Well, I mean, I still do, but I mean, I'm not hoping that it will make a return. Okay, I have already I've been an adult about it and said, I'm putting this trade on. Here are the probabilities. I've done my analysis and I'm taking the trade, and I have accepted already that money is not going to generate a return. Okay, I write it out of my balance. My mental balance in my head. I don't actually look at my balance unless I'm going to do something like I did yesterday with figuring out what percentage of what in my portfolio I wanted to put money into. So looking at what was I saying? Oh yeah, I wanted to look at the cryptos. Let's go to percent changes. So Bit Crystals, or Bytecent, whatever the hell that is down. Some of these I have no idea what they are. That is down 33%. CDT is down 20%. A lot of things are down greater than 10%. If I scroll down the list here, it's pretty crazy how many things are down greater than 10%. Are there any greens on the board? Okay, GRS is up 34%. Nubbits, oh yes, Nubbits is a fun little coin. Nubbits is down 24 or up 24%. CRW is up 20%. Pay is up 7. I mean, we have some pump and dump activities going on here with a lot of these ones down here. So a lot of these, some of them are not on Bittrex. I mean, some of these are on Bittrex and not on Binance, and vice versa. So yeah, it's just we look at just look at these markets. We are deep in the red with altcoins, and that's good. I think that's awesome, because altcoins is where we make the bigger returns. That is where we get into the big buying opportunities in cryptos. You know, I think it's fine to hodl Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, you know, but where I'm going to see the biggest percentage gains in both crypto and dollars is in the altcoin market. Man, Walton Coin is just, I think this guy is Walton Chain 96% down. If we go down to, what is that, 44 cents, that's a 100% loss. That'd be nuts. But okay, so I bought, I think what was, I think I bought like 800 Walton Coin yesterday at like $2.05 or something, which is fine. And I mean, that's my speculative play there. So I've got 800 of that, and bought that at $2. I think actually it was more than that. I think I spent $2,000 on that trade. But regardless, let's say I've got 800 Walton Coin and it catches back up to even $12. That's a hell of a return. I think we can totally anticipate the drives higher here moving forward. I think the bottoms are going to be forming between today and Friday. And then I don't think we will see any more lows for the year. I want to look at Bitcoin real quick. Oh, not on this chart though. So Bitcoin has still been finding some support on this angle, which is great. It's, you know, the 4-hour chart's overdone. We could see some supportive buying coming in. We have bullish divergence on the daily, the weekly. Take a look at the weekly. The weekly is showing a mild correction there, but we actually are forming a bullish divergence on both the slow and the fast oscillators. So Bitcoin coming down to this intersection here, I would actually love to see Bitcoin fall down to the 5,000 value area. That would be a great zone. I mean, we were talking about this yesterday, the zone that we would be looking at for the lowest of the low going forward. I mean, if we look at Bitcoin, what it was trading at in August 13th, compared to where we're at now. August 13th, the high that we traded at was 4,200. But if we keep going forward in time here, if we get to where we at in August 31st, we were trading at 4,800. So we're approaching the year over year, year to date, or year over year value area. It's like we're getting a reset almost. Sorry to mute my mic. I had to sneeze, and I didn't want to do that over the mic. So that is happening there. Let's see. I was looking at looking at it from this perspective here. Yesterday, it's like almost like clockwork. After we got off the horn, I was talking about prices being up around this linear regression channel. We came up to the mid, and that we would need a pretty big spike to travel up there, which it didn't. Instead, we very expected kind of retrace down here. But what's more telling about this is that this regression channel, at least the pitch or the slope, whatever you want to call it, of this regression trend seems to be the value area that it's going to be trading in, that Bitcoin is, because we've been in this regression channel for a while, and every time we've gotten outside of it, we've responded fairly quick. I thought I heard my doorbell. We've responded fairly quickly to come back into it and stay in it. So this is going to be pretty hard for Bitcoin to have a sustained drive lower here, but certainly we are forming what could look like a big old this is just a bear flag forming, so we could see prices really capitulate lower here. The rejection of going lower is going to be trading above the 6100 value area. We would really need to get back above that, and then ultimately, we're looking at a return to 6600, 6800. If we want to have a pretty bullish outlook going into the weekend, we would really like to see prices break out of this channel here. If we look at it on the daily, TradingView does not like to adjust that very well. If I just delete it and redraw it, this is a pretty steep slope. On the fib level here that we're looking at on the daily, the 886, this is a very strong reversal zone. This is a very powerful Gartley setup that we have. In fact, I think I have I just don't want to share my login information. No offense. So I'm going to pull that up because I think I have that Gartley saved in MotiveWave, which is really great software, by the way. I encourage you all to try a trial. I mean, this is a strong support zone that we're entering into. It's going to be a pretty neat thing to look at and observe. Oh yes, okay. One moment. Where you at? I don't think I saved it. That's okay though. So, looking forward on the day, this is a pretty strong area we're looking at. Now, this is the big deal. This is an important zone. In 2 days, we will be at a square of price and time. And what I mean by square of price and time, that means that we have conditions met where the angles of time and price are equal. So this red line here, this red line is an inner harmonic between two major harmonics. This acts as a strong pivot against price. So whatever price is doing around that, when it gets to this zone, it gets rejected. This is a very strong support zone because we're coming down to it. Then this line here, this is a pivot in time, and if you look that at a lot of these areas, The blue and the red lines, the even distributions, often act as the kind of the turning points in a lot of the markets. They act as pivots, and that's because the red divisions here, they represent areas of resistance to the trend in force. To the trend in force in time. So they act as a resistance in time to the trend in force. And what is the trend? The trend is coming down. And so we have a bear move that we've been going on for the last, let's see, if we start it from back here. You know, we're like 3 weeks worth of a bearish retracement. So we have moved down and the trend is bearish. And so this zone acts as a buying opportunity. This acts as a support zone. Okay. We saw this one other time this year, and that was back here. All right. If you want an example of how powerful the square of price and time in the red lines is, you can just look back here, where you see that happen back here, back in February. All right. Or, yeah, that's probably the only one that I see here. And this is true in all sorts of other markets that I've drawn these on. I think, oh, do I have it done in the pound? Dollar yen, yeah. Well, that was, excuse me. The, dang it, where'd you go? So we have two conditions in front of us, both in time and price, that tell us that these are going to act as strong rejection areas. So the red horizontal line itself is a very powerful reversal harmonic value area, and so is the vertical line. And when both of them are there together because they have the same principles, then they act as kind of like an accelerant, or they act as a like an increase in the probability of an event happening. So we are looking at a very, very good probability of prices reacting to this zone. All right. So that is something to look at and be excited about. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty neat. As far as, you know, what to look forward to, I mean, there's really not much more that we can do to beat around the bush. I don't want to take up the entire hour here, because really all we are looking at is a huge, I mean, for me, it's a buying opportunity. I am really excited about all these price moves. I'm excited to see maybe some lower price action, but you know, I think just using Bitcoin as the barometer, could we move lower? Sure. I don't see that being a I mean, this is like back-to-back sessions here. This is, if we got down to 5,000, the square in price and time right here, that's just huge, guys. I mean, this is a big deal, this zone. And no matter what kind of market geometry you use, the confluent zone here is a very, very powerful signal. You know, we look at it in this view where we don't have those time cycles in there. We just have the square of 144. That's a pretty huge deal. We could look at the square of 52. The square of 52 in our Bitcoin chart. It's in a very supportive angle there, supportive level. So there's just a lot of craziness happening moving forward. It is entirely possible that we do fall to 5,600 or 5,000, but I tell you what, any of the activity that drops down into those zones, because here is a monstrous square of time and price, this level here, it is exceedingly harder for Bitcoin to travel down from where we're currently at than it is to go up. We have a much more difficult time of maintaining. Oh, I should say this. I shouldn't say it's easier to move down than it is up. It is going to be exceedingly harder for price to remain below where it is currently, the lower we go. And literally every hour that we would be below 6,000, and every hour that we were to move in time and price closer to this vertical line here and these price levels, we should see a growth in the volume. We should see a growth in the well, actually, just the volume should increase. So should the volatility. These are very powerful reversal zones. And the fact that we had that swing low here, and we're at this 48 day, 49 day. This is a 49 days that is the Gann called that the death zone, the 45 to 49 day cycle. Did we have a low found 45 days ago? Yes. Is there another low in that same region being found? Yes. And in fact, I think let me peruse this quick. I think Gann wrote about, yeah, can reverse a trend. Ends blow off for very fast moves. That is exactly what we are experiencing. Moving from low to high in 45 days can also set up a 45-day straight move up or vice versa. If we go from a low to a low, we have a high probability of a reversal. So, yeah, this 45-day cycle is a 45 to 49 day cycle is very, very important. Gann says that it ends blow off moves. I mean, there is just a metric crap ton of market geometry and cycles that have kind of come together really ever since July 7th and all the way to currently. There have been just a smashing and a jumble of the culmination of various time cycles without a very strong corrective or continuing move in the overall trend. That is telling us something, that time is well ahead of price, excuse me. So what I'm saying is that if we're applying Gann's theory correctly, then we should be viewing prices currently sitting at the 12,000 value area where we're at right now. That's where prices, this is hard to wrap the head around, but this is going to sound really bizarre, but in other words, the price that we are currently seeing on our screen is not where it is actually at in time. It's lagging. Time is the ultimate time is the reason for trend changes. Time is the reason that things happen. Again, Gann was really specific that there was a set pattern in nature in general, and that was also in the market, that there was no randomness. And as much as humans try to think that we have control and influence over this pattern, we don't. So we just stick with it. And when something is happening to the contrary of the time cycles and the pattern cycles, those just turn into either buying or selling opportunities. Because if we were trading this like last year, we would have last year selling based on Gann theory, missed out on the move from 15,000 to the 19,870. Missed out on that entire move, but sold. Not a big deal. Followed my trade theory. But we are currently not seeing the price and time working together. They are actually divergent from one another. And so the farther we distance ourselves and travel away from where it is, quote, actually at, which is up here, the swifter and the more violent the snapback gets. Now, I'm not explaining this very well, and I don't know how to explain it very well, but it's a very, very weird theory and approach. I mean, it's not, though. This was around before all the stuff that we learn now. This is not a new line of thinking, but it has become a unfamiliar way of thinking about the market. So that's fine, though. But this 45 49 day cycle, that is probably the most important thing to recognize, that we've had this return to this low here, and that is showing us the bottom of a move. And so in 2 days or 2 days before, including the moon phase in this too, guys, there's just so much stuff just in vertical time periods. There's just a whole metric crap ton of stuff pointing towards trend reversals and changes. And because the altcoins have totally capitulated, the alt-pocalypse has been going on for quite some time, and I think that we may get one more day, maybe by the end of the day we're going to get one more day of a total abandonment and capitulation move, and then we see the rise. We're getting this is the last shakeout before the next rise and the next bull move. Okay? So that's what we are looking at. This is all the trappings of a finally, people are like, they're in so much, the traders are in so much pain about the current price action that they are just abandoning their positions to get rid of that emotional trauma they are experiencing. And I don't mean to laugh. I mean, I laugh about it because I've been through that circus many times before. So that is what we are looking at moving forward here. Again, the square of price and time is sitting down here at the 5,000 and the between 5,600 and 5,000. That is our square of price and time that is happening, and we should observe every day now until, as every hour as we're approaching, every daily candlestick now should have higher volume as we're getting closer to August 16th. There is a monstrous reversal date in front of us, and if prices were to dip lower towards that 5,000 value area, I mean, that would be awesome. That would add support to the Gann theory, but it may or may not. We'll see. If there's further liquidation of altcoins into Bitcoin, then we're probably going to sit tight at around this range, maybe lose 3 to 5% a day. But otherwise, if we see a dramatic dumping of Bitcoin into cash, then we have a different story in front of us. But for right now, we're just really considering this a capital rotation of Bitcoin and altcoins. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. So I'm excited to see what happens between now and when I talk to you tomorrow. It should be a pretty thrilling move. Yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. For those of you who are here live, if you are watching the recording, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And for our Forex Lens members, if I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30, and everyone else, I will see you tomorrow again at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Standard Time here for Decrypto Markets. I don't disappear like other services do when the market is going down. I don't get scared about talking about it. I get excited, especially when prices are moving down, because that's where you make money. I'm sorry, that if you have money exposed and your account is going down, that I don't know why that should upset you, because you should have expected that. But you should also have some capital lying around for opportunities like this. Because if something drops 20% in a day, you gotta pick that shit up. I'm sorry, that's what I do. So, and especially if things like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum are trading below their year-over-year lows, that is, it's or not their year-over-year lows, but if they're trading below what they were a year ago, yeah, I'm ready to pick it up. So we'll see what happens here. It should be a pretty exciting time. Anyways, trade well, trade smart. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your trade day. Have a good rest of your trade week if I don't talk to you again. And yeah, later.